All right. Welcome to Grue, and thank you so much for taking time out of your day, right? Your morning.
Yeah, my morning. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. I mean, it's for your audience, they don't know this has been a long time coming. We were supposed to do it and I had COVID. And then just battling time difference from myself in Auckland. So I'm just happy we made it happen, you know?
I know exactly. Like I said, I've been really looking forward to it and chatting and yeah, this is gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too. Thanks for having me.
Definitely, yes, definitely. And like the first thing I want to start out asking you is like
Yeah.
probably a typical question is like what drew you to want to act? Like what made you fall in love with it?
Oh man, actually, it's not a typical question, and you're the first person to ask me that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you are the first person to ask me that. So hey, right off the bat, this interview is slamming. This is great. Honestly, I was always like that little kid that was a ham. So like there'd be like family parties and I would just be entertaining everyone. But I would say like the moment that really sticks out to me was senior year in high school. I was in show choir. And at that point, I didn't realize it was acting per se. I was singing a lot. I thought it was just kind of music related, but I was singing this song. Oh, it wasn't senior year, it was sophomore year. That's right. Oh, no, it was senior year. That's right. I'm sorry. Senior year, I was singing this song from Ragtime, and I looked down at the audience, and this woman's crying. And it's just like I looked at her, and she looked at me, and it was this instant connection. Um, I that's it. Like it's like to be able to like connect with someone on an emotional level, or it doesn't mean like making people cry, but just like some sort of having a shared experience with people. Like that's honestly why I do the job, connecting with my co-stars, connecting with the audience. Like that's it. I'm an energy vampire. I just want to suck up everyone's juicy energy.
That is awesome. I mean, I love horror and so like if you're any type of the vampire, that's amazing. I love it.
That's right. And there must be a word for that. Like people that like to steal people's warmth or kleptotherms. What is an energy vampire?
I
Who
you know
knows?
that might actually be what that is. Like I know there's like a whole like different kinds, and the
Yeah.
energy vampires. I think
Yeah.
you're right with that. I think they're the ones that like drain like your energy and they feed off of it.
But I like to give back. So it's actually reciprocal. I'm not quite, don't be afraid if you see me in the street, like, oh, Jen's gonna come and like steal my life force. Oh yeah, like from What We Do in the Shadows. What's it? Colin. Do you ever watch What We Do in the Shadows?
Yeah.
Colin, what's his name? Anyway, that he's an energy, he like sucks everyone's energy. I am not that guy. I exchange. I guess that's what it is. Connection and energy exchange. That's why I love what I do.
Okay, there there you go. As long as it's given and taken, right?
That's right. That's right. Given and taken.
and, and Megan wasn't your first time in the horror world. I saw you were on a TV show called Grimm, and you also did a
Yes,
horror movie called No Exit.
that's right. That's right. Yeah, it's funny. I didn't even think about Grimm as like being in that genre, but yeah, totally. Like I morph. I'm 3 minutes on screen, and I get to morph into this demon. What? Oh, it was like a jaguar. It's in one of my old reels, actually. Like you can pull it up and look at it. But it's like I morph into this animal demony creature. I don't even remember. I can't remember what they're called. I mean, this is so long ago. But yeah, I hadn't even thought about that. Like, I guess that would be my first dip into. Oh, you know what? Actually, this is funny. In my junior year or senior year, I can't remember. I did a musical called "I'm Sorry, the Bridge Is Out." And that was actually my first foray into some sort of horror. I can't even remember the
Oh,
premise of
really?
that show, but it was some sort of wacky, dark, vampiric. something. I was just there to sing. I don't know. I don't remember and then No Exit. Yeah, I got to have a quick little snippet on that. Did you see the movie?
I did.
It's a good one.
Yes.
And it's funny because like half the time when, even though I know what's coming, I'm still like, oh my God, they did that. They shot her in the head with a nail gun, or him, or whatever. Or, yeah, it's great.
It is. It definitely is. and I know you do films and television shows and stuff like that, but how's it like to actually do voice work, like you did voice work for anime?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did voice work for this local New Zealand show called Tales of Nine. And that was really fun. Actually, what I love about doing voice work, which anybody watching, happy to do more voice work, hit me up, is that you can get your whole body into it in any sort of way you want, and you're not having to worry about the camera or how do I look? Do I look like an idiot? Like there's this one moment where I'm like, as this parent, I'm like climbing, and so to get myself to be like I'm like pulling this thing. Oh my God, I'm like rocking the laptop. So you can gesticulate and get crazy, like so that you can make the sounds that are required to make a full, beautiful cartoon. I love it. It's fun. It's actually a lot of fun. And I now that you say that, I'm like, maybe I should be trying to do that more because I actually enjoy it.
Okay.
Yeah, giving me ideas. Yes.
And like when you're doing like the voice stuff, like how do you find your voice like for the role? Because I know they want like a certain kind of voice when you play a certain role.
Yeah, so like I was doing there's a couple video games that I've done as well. One's Agent Intercept, and I'm like this like badass head of some like spy organization. And really it's the same way that I would approach like live action, in that like there's a character and what does she feel like? And I think about like what does this person's soul feel like? Again, back to the vampire. I'm stealing people's souls. Oh my, full circle. But yeah, like really, like honestly, like I think about it, channeling somebody, like channeling someone else's. I'm always going to be me. Like I'm always going to bring my own. You can't undo yourself. I'm not. I'm not like a full method actor that's going to go off into the woods for 6 months. That's amazing. Love that for you. But I do want to like. I do like to. Yeah, be possessed, like possessed by someone else's spirit. Gosh, this is funny. But that's kind of the language that I know. I was like, that's kind of creepy. But yeah, like kind of like being possessed by a character, and then how does that feel?
Yeah.
And like especially voices, like you said, it should sound very different than I do. Like, so like I remember like the panda. I was like, oh, just looking at his face, thinking like, oh, that's what they would sound like, So yeah, like getting a visual cue, and then depending on the life story of the character, like, well, what would the head of a spy agency, what's the gravitas they would have in a stereotypical way? I'm sure there's like people that run a spy agency that sound like this. Hi, I run a spy agency. I don't know. But like in the way we all assume this person would have like more resonance and more,
right,
which I don't have a lot of depth to my voice, but hey, we made it work.
Exactly. There you go. Oh, what kind of tea do you have there?
Oh, this is rooibos chai, or they call it red bush chai. So non-caffeinated. I do drink caffeine sometimes. I'm not a daily coffee drinker, but I do love a hot drink. The older I get, I'm like, oh, I just need to be warm, but it's good. So I hope you don't mind me drinking my tea while we spill the tea.
Oh no, that's perfectly fine. I love drinking tea too. Like tea's
What's
awesome.
your favorite tea? Do you have a favorite tea?
I'm actually a green tea person.
Yeah.
I like the flavored kind of green, like a green tea with lemon or a green tea with
Ooh.
ginger, or like, you know,
Yeah.
I like the green tea with something else in it.
Yeah. Well, I like green tea too. And actually, hot tip for you and any viewers, I've been drinking this thing, cocoa husk tea. And they take the cacao husk. So they take the cacao pods and, you take, I guess you take the husk off to get the chocolate or whatever. I don't know, or the cocoa butter, excuse me. And they take that and they like, not whittle it down, but what do you call it? Like shave it down so that's like little tea size flakes. And then it makes this tea that's like gives you, it's like reminiscent of having a hot chocolate that's not a hot chocolate. It's so
Really?
good. Cacao husk tea, get amongst, do that. Get that. It's good.
I have to say that's the first time I ever heard of that.
Exactly. There you go. Full of antioxidants. I'm telling you.
Oh
You know,
wow, really?
you can swan into the lawyer office and be like, "Hey guys, look at me with my beautiful tea."
You know, you want to talk about like the energy vampires that draws your energy out and sucks your soul. It's definitely the lawyers.
Oh, I hope none of them are watching this. Oh shoot. Oh, he's kidding. No, I'm kidding. Absolutely. Totally. That's right. Wait, and you're in the office too. Wait a minute. Are you trying to get fired? What's happening here? I'm sure they are funny. Actually, my lawyer friends, I think, they're pretty fun.
Oh, okay, good. So I guess they're different where you live at then, right?
Oh no, these are my LA lawyer friends. Maybe it's just because it's LA, Everyone's like,
Yeah,
whatever.
they probably go to the office and then take a lunch break and go to the
That's right.
beach, right?
Absolutely. It's the only way to live. Relax.
See, here in Philly, I guess the lawyers are more on edge because they don't have it. We don't have a beach in
That's
Philadelphia, so
right.
yeah.
That's right. They need to have like sun lamps. Need some sun lamps, get more vitamin D, have some cacao husk tea. They'll be ready to go. Right?
Exactly. Yes. Yes. So you're part of this huge horror film that came out with a killer a AI doll,
Right.
Megan. And
Yes.
how did you wind up booking the role as Tess for the film?
Man, I'm still asking myself that question. I don't know who I bribed in a former life, but honestly, like it's funny. It was like regular process. They actually were, I think they were also casting out of LA, not also, they were casting in the States and here. And it was just, they were going to film here. So they did see some local actors, myself included. Like I know the wonderful casting director, Miranda's awesome. She's great. And yeah, I mean, I did my first tape. I did a self tape. It was so funny. The first audition was, the auditions were the phone call scene that I have with Gemma about, her sister dying and like, who cares about work, whatever. That happens quite in the beginning. And then the other one was where Cole, Brian Jordan Alvarez's character, and I, try to beat up Megan. It was a bit different. Actually, there was a lot more action in that original scene.
Oh,
But yeah,
really?
those were the two things. So trying to audition that second scene, it's a lot, trying to figure out like, how do I pretend I'm beating up a killer doll? But apparently it worked. So I got a call back. Hallelujah. When I went to the audition, and I've told people this before, I thought I messed it up. I thought
Really?
I'd gone in, yeah, I'd prepared the wrong sides, my bad. I had gone in and we're having a side conversation. Miranda is being like, really sweet, we're having a side conversation. And Gerard, our wonderful director, was like, what's going on? I'm like, I think I prepared the wrong sides, but that's fine. He's like, that's fine, just hold the sides. I'm like, okay. Luckily, they were very similar. So I don't know if it was a different draft. I have no idea. There was just it was on my end. I don't know what I dropped the ball. But he was gracious enough to let me hold the sides. The sides are, for anybody that doesn't know out there, the sides are what actors use to prepare. It's not the whole script. They're just like little segments of the script they want you to audition with. It's the audition material. So we call those pages sides. Anyway, so yeah, so I was like, well, this director thinks I'm a dummy, so this can't get any worse than this. These are like, you're unprepared and you're whatever. So I did it. Again, luckily it was in the same vein, the same tests, the same idea in the lab, killing a doll or trying to, and getting blown up. Oh no, did I get blown up in that original one? I don't remember. I don't think so. And now I don't remember. Anyway, so it went really well, apparently, because I got it, but I left and I saw my friend coming in. I'm like, oh, she's got the part. That's fine. I'm like, she's perfect for this. And I told my agents here, I said, honestly, it wasn't great. I mean, I don't know. Oh, well, that's fine. And let it go. I just let it go. And then weeks later, I get a call from my agent, then Britta, love you, girl. And she was like, so how do you feel about working with Allison Williams? And I was on vacation. I was like, what? Yes, absolutely. But I literally had let that ship sail because I was like, that was horrific. It wasn't horrific. The acting was always there. It's more just the circumstance of which, but I'm so grateful. So grateful. Still can't believe it.
Well, see, they saw something and said, we're calling her back. She has to be the one that plays tests.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Oh, I'm so happy. Yeah, I think that's like a life lesson, right? Like, don't count yourself out until you're really out, Like I think I don't, again, I've mostly act, I don't know, but I think we're really quick to judge ourselves, like after an audition, like that was terrible, who wants me, right? Downward spiral. Whereas I guess the only way to think of it is like, I've done what I could do to the best of my ability. And if they want me, they do. And if they don't, they don't. Unless I've like totally messed up and didn't prepare, then that's on me. But like, otherwise, it's like a game. It's half of it is chance and lottery, not technique and craft. I'm not saying that. Like, you have to be prepared and ready to meet the challenge. But you just don't know. Someone, it could have just been like, the lead could have looked too much like me. That has happened where I auditioned for something and I'm like, there's no way they're going to cast me. I look way too much like the lead. If you notice in movies, no one looks the same.
Right.
Someone's blonde, someone's brunette, someone's Chinese, someone's black, whatever. They want like a salad of people. So you can't control that. But anyway, just grateful the chips fell my way. I also bribed him when I left, so just kidding.
Hey, bribes work too. You know, flip them $100 bill.
That's right. Here you go. Haven't been that desperate yet, but we'll see what happens with my career the next year. I might be out there slipping hundreds. I don't know. It's unsolicited advice. I don't know.
Right, exactly. And what did you like most about Tess? Like, what did you love about playing her?
Oh, you're asking great questions. What did I love about playing Tess? I mean, I think she was the moral compass of the story, and I love that. Things are going awry. Obviously, Gemma is just focused on, in the beginning, just making an incredible product and really making Megan the, I guess the best toy of all time, as opposed to like, well, what is this really doing? So I love that she was very intentional in her work, and that she's very thoughtful and she's kind, but also will hold someone to task in a kind way. Like, when that conversation we had about like, well, what are we doing? Like, I thought we were trying to help people. trying to
Yeah.
like hold your friends accountable without like bashing them on the head, which is kind of how I operate. So, I mean, I think in a lot of ways, we're very close in some ways, except very different. I mean, she's much more understanding, obviously way smarter, has more degrees and knows how to engineer things. I don't know. It's funny, like we were in the lab and I'm like on this phone call and they're like, do some things. I'm like, okay, I don't know. Does this look like I'm doing something legitimate or I have no idea. I don't know. But I loved being that. I loved being kind of like the audience's moral anchor.
Mm-hmm.
When everything else is in this whirlwind, Tess says, wait a minute, there's more at stake here. So I enjoyed that. And also, and playing with Cole,
Yes.
and that kind of like relationship, which would be fun to experience more if there's a chance to do that. Like that, I love that. I love that there's the trio of us. Like it's fun. We're all very different. And so I think that makes a really compelling ensemble when everyone has a very specific personality. Gemma is just like, direct and cutthroat and possibly, in my opinion, neuroatypical slightly. And then, Brian's character Cole is just kind of like the schlubby guy at the office that's just like funny and like, I don't know what's going on. Who cares, And then Tess is like the grounded person. And so it's fun. Like I think there's a lot to explore there with those relationships. And hopefully we get to do it again. We'll see.
I'm really hoping for that. I am. I'm really hoping for that.
Did you like the Tess character? Honestly, I mean, I know I'm sitting here.
I did. Yes. I like with Megan. Like it is a horror movie. Yes, there was killings, there was blood, but it's also funny too.
Yes.
And there's like a lot of funny scenes, like a lot of funny lines. And what was your like? What scene did you think was funny, or a line you think was funny?
Oh my gosh, there's so many that were just so funny, like that I would just like laugh. I mean, obviously, when Brandon says, fuck you, Holly, like that is, I just die. I literally was like, that's funny. Like it's hilarious because you don't expect this kid. Well, you already know from the beginning when you see him, like this kid is off, and he just goes full in. But what makes it funny is that his mom, Holly, played by Renee Lyons, like the opposite of that. Like usually, like you would expect him to be like, "Don't speak to me that way," and so she's like, "Oh, he's growing. It's a fun age, isn't it?" Like that's the magic of comedy, the opposites, and that's also what makes it funny. Like he is the fish out of water, right?
Yeah.
He's just like this big overgrown kid, like slightly adult sized, has a voice of like like a man. And so that is really funny in juxtaposition to all these little shrimpy kids, and like to his sweet mom. I just think that's funny. There's just so many moments like that. And then like, I just can't, I mean, there's just so many. I'm like, I can't even when shouldn't be laughing. It's funny. I love when she pops up over the fence after she's been chewed up by the dog, Megan, and her hair's all crazy. Like that cracked me up. There's just so many moments. I can't even like list them all. Like that's the thing about this movie that I think that really resonated with a more mass audience, because even myself, I'm not a big horror fan.
Really?
I mean, I'm trying to get there only because I'm scared, only because I'm like afraid. That's the truth. Like I'm just nervous. But like it just, I think even my mom was able to watch it because it was funny. And it wasn't, there were some tense moments, but it was undercut beautifully by the comedy. A lot of that is very Kiwi dry humor that like Gerard really layered in there, and I just incredible.
I love the scene where they bring the doll and the doll's wrapped up in all the
Yes. Oh yes.
and Tess is like just like, what the hell is going on? Like it's a doll. Like, are you crazy?
Yeah. Yeah. And then she falls over. And the funniest part is like, you know, like even though I was there when that happened, watching the movie, I was like, oh, I'm like, you knew that was gonna happen. You literally knew she was gonna fall over, you know? But the timing I wasn't sure of. It's just like when they did that when we were shooting it, they would pull it, you know, yank her down at different times. So you weren't ever quite sure when she was gonna fall. You were just kind of like in suspense, like, when is she gonna, oh God, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really funny. Her wrapped up. That was so funny. Oh my gosh, hilarious.
Here she is, driving the doll. He throws the doll down.
Yeah, yeah, yes,
Oh
yes. So funny. I know, you know, Allison did such a good job at like being the straight funny man. Like so many little delightful funny moments. Like you expect Brian to be funny, you expect Ronnie to be funny, you know, all these other cast members, but you know, Allison was, oh gosh, she just cracked me up. Even just like her little things, it's just like her neuroses that were really funny, like with her little collectibles and just that, those kind of things, like it just cracked me up, you know, that someone, it was funny because you just go like, but you got a kid here whose parents just died. You don't want to give him the toy, but that it is funny. It's, I don't know. Yeah, it definitely rode the line of like, of humor and
yes.
Yeah, and whatever the other word is that I'm trying to find.
I mean, there are a lot of people that will not let anyone touch their figures because
that's true.
It's been something that they've been collecting for years, and
that's true.
People are real serious about that. So
that's right.
I could actually see someone doing that
that's
to
right.
a kid. Yeah, I know your parents just got killed, but you can't touch
my
fig.
exactly. Do you collect anything?
Like I'm not like that anal like how she is in the movie, but yeah, I like collecting wrestlers and like horror figures.
Yeah. So we know if anyone goes to his house, don't touch his stuff. Okay, we're saying it now. Don't touch the stuff. Don't touch it.
That's true. Yeah.
Right. You're acting cool now. But I feel like if I was in there and I just did this or picked it up and shook it a little, you know, maybe a little sweat would just
yeah, right, exactly. I'll be like, no, it's perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine. Sweat pouring off
exactly.
of me. It's I don't care. You can touch it, you can play with it, and then I pass out.
That's right. That's because you're kind. Because you're a kind person.
Yeah, exactly.
Unlike Gemma in the beginning of the movie. Just kidding.
Right.
Yeah. We had to work on her. Tess had to work on Gemma to get the juicy bits out. That's all.
Exactly. So how was it like working with the girl that plays Megan? Like, I mean, she nailed it, like acting like a doll.
Yeah. So Amy's awesome. It's interesting because I didn't interact with Amy in our scenes a lot. Because you know, I'm mostly in the lab when she is just still.
Well, yeah.
And so she's like, they had like all these varying dolls. There's like posable doll, animatronic doll. It just depends on what it was like. But I did interact with Amy a bit, and we've hung out outside of, and she's just a talented and driven little person, just person in general, like more than even adults, just, you know, you'd ask her to do something, and this goes for Violet too, like they're just so on it and so dialed in and like take direction quickly and boom, boom, boom. But I wish I was there for the school scene, the forest school, watching her crawl. That would have been amazing. But I didn't get to see any of that cool stuff. Like in the lab, we actually, when she walks over and lights us on fire, it actually was her double. It wasn't even her. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, that's a little hot tip. No one knows that. But in general, because it's such a it's just like a scene. First of all, like, kids, they have only a certain amount of time they can work. And
Yeah.
then also she's literally just walking. So you don't need all of Amy's like fabulous skills. Like she's an amazing acro dancer. Like if you go to her Instagram and watch her like dance, she's incredible. She can move her body that way because since she was young, like I was talking to her mom about it, like she's just always had this incredible focus. It wasn't forced by her parents. It was like an inner drive. And you can see that. Yeah, you can see that. Like she's loves it, like loves movement. And yeah, I'm just proud of her. I need to watch Sweet Tooth so I can the next season so that I can see her, you know, as this other character, as Maya the
Yeah,
monkey.
exactly.
Yeah, but she's a
But
great little human.
her as Megan, that scene where she's dancing, I was like, wait,
Yes,
what's going on here? Why is she
I
dancing?
know. I know. I think that was a Gerard edition. Like there was no dancing. It was great. And it's just, if you have a dancer, you got to use the dancing. And it was
Yeah,
pure magic, like
yeah, it was.
pure magic. Truly a genius inspired idea to do that. Like the hilarity, it was hilarious because you're like, she's literally on a killing spree and yet she's
And
having a
she's
dance
dancing.
break, you know? It's incredible. And just what a cute, fun little dance,
Yeah, exactly.
That I,
Yeah,
that I
I mean,
have you
it's
tried
funny.
it?
I never tried that. No.
Maybe we should have rehearsed it and we should have done it.
I am not a good dancer at all. Like if I'm at a club, I just like stand near the bar and bop my head with a
There you
drink.
go.
That's as far as it goes.
We got it. We need some standards because for the rest of us that want to be on the dance floor, we need space. We need some space.
Exactly. But if I get really wasted, I will run on the floor. I won't remember anything that I did on the floor, but then everyone will have their videos out and making fun of me and laughing and won't.
What's your
down.
move? What's your move? Do you do the snake on the floor? What happens when you see a video later?
They tell me that I dance like Lane from Seinfeld.
Oh,
That's what they say when I'm like when I
that's so
am
funny.
completely gone out of my mind with the drinks and when I attempt to dance, they kind of say it's Elaine on the dance floor, and
That's
they
incredible.
they say watch out, don't get him too drunk because then Lane would come out, and I'm like, oh,
That's
funny.
right. Oh, I love that. That's such a great reference because automatically I'm like, oh, I can already see it, That's a great visual cue. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. and, and what would you say was the best kill in Megan? Like for me, I mean, I don't like to see kids die on film, but that
I
bully,
know.
like that was my favorite scene because I
I
was like,
know.
oh, you have to kill this kid. Like
I know.
he's so annoying. Like he's so annoying. Like just go after him.
Yeah, he was a bad 100%. I feel the same way where I was like, I'm so happy he died. Like that's just a horrible, but it's true. Just such a horrible little human. Like I love
Yeah.
kids. Like I love kids. I love my own child. But you do run across a kid every once in a while. Like you're a murderer waiting to happen. Like you are not okay, And that was Brandon. Like had he
Yeah.
lived, he would have done some terrible things for sure. He was already doing terrible things.
I know. Like, he was trying to force his way on the girl, and then Megan, he was like throwing her all over, and I'm like, what the hell?
I know. I mean, yeah, that was a very good one. That was good because it's shocking. I think it's like shocking for people. Because you won't expect that people like kill the 13-year-old, however old, I don't know how old he was, So that was a good one. But I mean, when David, Ronnie Chang's character, gets it, I love that
Oh
because
yeah.
it's the dance and the music and the red walls, and she's taken the like paper cutter thing, and he is running for. He's very fit. Ronnie is very fit. He does jujitsu. This fool is athletic, and so watching him run for his life and look terrified after spending the whole movie being like nonplussed and like doesn't give a crap about anything, like watching him run for his life and then watching Stefan like close the door. Stefan, sorry, that's the Kurt character. Close the door. That was amazing. That was so great. And then he just gets it.
Yeah. Yes.
It's interesting. Actually, there's one kill when Kurt's character gets it. There was actually like slightly, the scene was actually more extended. When we did the rap party, we got to see more of it. And the way he died was so good. And we only saw a smidgen of it. But
yeah.
it was an incredible death scene. Like, I feel like, I don't know what's on the Blu-ray DVD. I don't have one, but like, I'm so curious what the little bonuses are. I hope his little death scene, was on there. I don't know.
Because I heard, like, I don't know if it's on the Blu-ray or not, but I heard that they're making an unrated version of the film because they were saying how the film was a lot more violent and bloody, but they didn't have that for the screenings.
That's
So
right.
they're making an unrated version now.
Yeah, they have one, and I saw it's on what's it called? Not Hulu. Well, you can get it on Amazon, but I think it's on Hulu. I don't remember, but yeah, it's honestly not that much more gory. It is more gory, but
Okay.
trust me, I think it could have been even more gory. So it gives you a
Really?
little bit extra flavor. But not, I wouldn't say it's, yeah, you get to see the full action, like the full bloodiness, but it's not, I think it gives people a little extra, those bloodthirsty viewers of yours. It gives you a little extra taste. But still the same movie, still funny. There's more swearing. That's a big one. Because what happened was, like, to get PG-13, you're only allowed to use one F word in a non-sexual context. And that's what happened. So there was definitely more cursing that happens. I don't remember where or when. But yeah, they had to clean it up for potential tender ears,
Yeah, well, yeah. Okay, I could see that then.
But you know what? These kids, man, they've got pretty potty mouths anyway. I'm like, I don't know if they haven't been saying this stuff anyway. Let's be honest, but gotta follow the ratings.
Yeah, no, there's I mean, there's kids that say some pretty crazy things. Like,
I know.
Sometimes when you're walking by them and they'll be like, "What are you looking at?" I'm like, "What?" I said I could crush you, and you're and you're trying you're trying
exactly.
to step up to me, like,
That's
really?
right. Yeah, you're like, I could go to jail, so I'm gonna leave it, but kids, man.
I'm like,
Okay, I have one question for you, and then another question.
okay.
Tell me about the Grue Rume. Is it a reference that I should know about?
Not really. Grue is just standing for gruesome, because I'm a big horror fan, a horror guy. So it's just like a shorter version of gruesome.
I love that.
And then Rume, I spell Rume different because I wanted it to be different. So it's like Rume instead of RO.
Yeah.
So yeah, just trying to be a little
different. That. I love that. I love that. That's great. I just wasn't sure. I'm like, oh. And then the character in the back.
Yeah.
Who's that? Is that your character?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not me. It's not my character, but he's basically the what do you call that? The mascot for the Grue Rume, because me and my buddy, we also run a horror site, Grue Monkey. So the mascot is monkey with a mask on and a chainsaw.
Okay, there we go. All right, got it.
You can see his like little tail sticking
I
off.
do see his tail. Like I'm just like
Yeah.
looking and thinking like, got it.
So yeah, he's like a horror monkey that runs after you with a chainsaw, but he's also cute.
I feel like, are you working on something? Is this gonna be like a little horror cartoon that you're gonna have to work on?
I would love that. Like that would be so awesome to turn like Grue Monkey into like an animation or a cartoon.
Right. Yeah, or even like or even like a what do you call it? You know what I'm talking about? The book, the comic.
Yes, exactly. Hey, we could get you to do the voice of Grue, right?
Hey, oh my gosh. I have to see his face unmasked. Now I know suddenly I'm like, what would Grue sound like?
Yeah, I know, right? What would a Grue monkey sound like?
What would a Grue monkey sound like? I don't know. I'll be thinking about that.
Okay. And, when Megan was out, like, and it became like this huge hit for a horror movie, like, were you shocked at how the fans responded to it?
I was shocked. Like I hadn't actually seen it until I saw the premiere. Until I went to the premiere and watching it with hundreds and hundreds of people and listening to the reaction, it was incredible.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, we got a little hit on their hands because, honestly, you don't know how things are going to come together in the edit, especially when, you're only doing your scenes. It's not like I was a producer and I was there every day seeing everything. So I only knew what I saw. And you just don't know. Like, I'm like, okay, there's a killer doll and sometimes she dances and sings. This could be horrendous. Like, honestly, like, like I'm sure a lot of people were like, oh, geez, been there, done that, seen it. If Chucky, it's this, it's that, comparing it to all sorts of things. But I think she's her own, she's in her own category and she's her own thing. And I'm just like still blown away at this moment that she has, and that I'm like part of the like horror zeitgeist. Like that's wild to me. Like that I'm like she will be a character, and this film will be something that people talk about when they talk about horror. Like for someone whose career was like non-existent 5 years ago, it's mind-blowing, and I'm just grateful. I can't even believe it. Can't even believe it. Yeah. And I'm just glad that people liked it.
Yeah.
To be in something that people enjoy.
Yes, yeah. The horror fans loved it. Like if at horror conventions they actually had the girl that plays her, Megan.
Yeah.
And I was at one of the horror conventions that she was at, and just like the fan base that went up to her was so incredible. Like her line was like the longest line, and the fan base that came pouring out just wanting to talk to her and take a picture with Megan, and it was just like this movie became like a really big hit in the horror world.
Right. And then also, I don't know if your fans, the voice is different than. Okay, great. I just wasn't sure. Just for anyone that's watching, that if they're not sure, Jenna Davis does the voice, and she just encapsulated it perfectly. So, like for us, that's the other part of it. You just don't know. Like there's lines that are happening with Megan, but it's not her voice. There was a scratch voice that was like in place, but so you just don't know how it's gonna like turn out. And she just nailed it.
Yeah.
Just her bitingly sarcastic tone, this like Gen Z sort of like flippant attitude, like she just nailed it. Like
I know.
It was incredible. And that's a huge reason why it was so funny, was her vocal performance. Like I'm like, again, I was watching it live with a whole bunch of people. Like I hadn't, like a lot of the other cast had seen it prior and I hadn't seen it. And so I was just like, this is great. She's awesome. Like, obviously I already knew Amy was awesome because she was here filming with us, but Jenna
Mhm.
wasn't here. You
Yeah.
know, she's doing all of her voice acting, you know, later. So kudos to her, man. Kudos.
Yeah, she both of the girls did amazing work with Megan. Like it is. It's amazing. It's incredible.
Yeah, what a team. It was truly a team effort. And like I say, like with Megan, like there was a team of puppeteers, like Adrian
Mhm.
Moreau and Kathy. Like, you know, Adrian just won an Oscar for turning Brendan Fraser, um, transforming him into who he was in The Whale. Like,
Oh yes.
incredible. Like, he made his team, not just him and Kathy and whoever else is on his team that I didn't get to meet. Like, you know, they made her actual body and how she looked.
Yeah.
Um, uh, and that was amazing. And like Devin Simon did like the internal works. Yeah, it was just, yeah, it's incredible. Whole litany of people who really put everyone together, you know? It was great.
Oh my God, yeah. And I
Yeah.
have to ask this question, like, would you rather see Megan fight Chucky or team up with him and go on a killing spree?
Oh my God. Oh man. I probably would. Oh man. Ooh, my initial reaction is I would like to see her kick his ass. Like, honestly, I'm like, because she would do it in such an unexpected way. Like,
I know.
that would be, it wouldn't just be stock standard, like, here's a knife, here's a gun, here's a rope. Like, who knows what she would do? Maybe she would wear tap shoes and tap dance on his head. Like, I don't know. I mean, he's possessed, right? I mean, he's like
Yeah,
possessed. So I don't know.
yeah.
Maybe she's like spitting holy water on it. I don't know what she's light him on fire. I don't actually know what she would do, but it would definitely be something ridiculous. And I would want it to be dance related. And I would,
Okay.
but also, yeah, it would be funny to see them together. But honestly, like Megan's a different thing. You know, she's
He is.
classy in her own way. She's well dressed. She's got that Gucci feeling. She's like, you know, she's fabulous. Her clothes cost more than mine do, and she's a
Yeah,
doll.
I
So
know.
um I would be really curious to see how she would take Chucky down. That is a
I know,
good
right?
question. What do you how would you want her to take Chucky down? Or are you
See,
not wanting her to take Chucky down?
that would be like a good battle, but then you have to think because Chucky has his bride too, so she's not going to want to see Chucky go down to Megan. So it might
That's
be
right.
Chucky and the bride, and Chucky has a son too. That's a doll, so she's going to have to fight his whole family.
I think she could. The thing is, it's like Megan is that doll. Like, she will take them all down. She's also like AI, right? So she could get the
Yeah,
like water sprinklers, the like,
yeah.
I don't even know, whatever. Like, who knows? Like, get a drone to come in. She could just manipulate so many things to take them all out. And it wouldn't take much.
You
My
know,
girl is a
that's a
baddie. My
really
girl
good
is a
point.
baddie,
That's a really good point. You're right about that. Yeah.
you know? And she would do it while taping you
That's
simultaneously
true.
and singing.
And then after she kills you, she'll post it to YouTube and TikTok
Exactly.
and
No, it'll be a live stream. The whole thing will be a live stream. Are you kidding me? She will be it'll be live streamed through her eyeballs. Like, she doesn't even need like a camera. Like, it's just through her eyeballs.
I know. It's just like look, she's looking at you and recording you. Yeah.
That's right. And then all her Megan stands come out and they all like jump in. They're done. Chucky, you're done. I'm sorry.
That's
It's a wrap.
that's
Like,
true.
don't even bring that beef. It's over.
Yeah. Yeah, true. No, you're absolutely right. Chucky will fall down and defeat the Megan.
Thank you. You've seen the light. I didn't want to have to suck your energy.
I know, right? Exactly. And the last question I'm going to ask is, where can
Yes.
fans follow you at?
You can follow me on Instagram, Jen Van Epps, at Jen Van Epps, JenVanEpps, on Instagram. I do have a Facebook, like a public Facebook page, but I realized I haven't even managed it, so I haven't even looked at it. I'm curious. I should go and look at it because I don't remember. I haven't looked at it. I don't know. I had set it up because basically, like when I started doing, like when I was doing these video games, like they were like, "Oh, do you have any socials?" And I'm like, "Oh, all my stuff's private." And I just started realizing, well, I do want to keep some things to myself and to like my personal life. And so I started these 2 public ones. So that's it. Like I keep it pretty simple. I'm already like yoked to my phone. Like Instagram is a bad, horrible place. As Tess would say, like, what are we doing here? Like I literally go down a rabbit hole. So I am not on TikTok or any of that stuff. It's already too much. Like I'm already like consumed. And trying to dial it back, honestly, a little bit. Because my daughter does notice,
Oh,
you know, that
okay.
I'm on my phone and I'm like, I have to try and be present. Even if I do want to like look at the new face cream on Instagram or whatever people are doing, or watch kittens talk and slap dogs. I don't know, you know?
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you so much for calling. This has been so much fun. You're really, really awesome. You're real funny, full of energy. Like this has been so much fun. Like I really loved chatting and definitely would love to do it again.
Yeah, let's do it again. I had a great time. It was a lot of fun. I love that you were laughing. I'm like, am I funny? Oh my God, I'm funny. This is amazing. That was such a boost. So thank you. You gave me your energy. Like I said, like an energy.
Okay, see, there we go.
You were literally giving me, it was an energy exchange. This is exactly what I'm talking about.
Exactly. I love it.
I'm gonna give you a high five through the screen. Can you see that?
I
Bam!
can.
There it is.
And now we just exchanged the energies, right?
That's right, we did. I know you might like wake up tomorrow and be like, I want to be an actor, and I'll wake up tomorrow.
I know, right? Exactly. I'm like, I want to fight a killer doll now.
That's right. I know. If I check the front page of the news, it's like Philadelphia man caught
beating up the doll.
Beating up dolls in department stores. Like, oops, my bad.
I promise I won't go that far. I'm not gonna hit any mannequins or I won't rip a doll out of a little kid's hand and start beating it up.
Yeah, please don't do that. Please don't do that.
Okay, I promise. Well, once again, thank you so much for doing this. It's been so much fun. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a great evening.
All right, you too.
Oh, I just hit my hand. Bye.
Bye.